Hello, let's do the New York Times Hard Sudoku for August 11th, 2023. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself using the same software I do. And I'm going to hit restart and get started. All right, well, we have a 7 up here. It's in one of these two because these two 7s look into the box here. I'm also seeing 4 and 1 looking up here. And the 1 looks over here. So at least for the 1, actually the 1 is placed. We have these two 1s and this one looking in. Even better. So there's only one place for 1 in this whole box, and that's here, so it must go there. Sometimes I get questions when I do that of, hey, why couldn't this have been a 3, for example? Like there's no obvious reason it's not a 3. Well, the reason it's not a 3 is because it has to be a 1. Otherwise, the box doesn't get a 1. We know that in every box, we're going to have 1 through 9 exactly once each. So if I put a 3 here, where is this box going to get its 1 from? Well, it can't repeat in this row, can't repeat in this column, can't repeat in this column, and these two are occupied by a 6 and 3. So I've broken the puzzle. Like I may not notice for a while, but I have broken the puzzle. There's now no solution if I put a 3 here. So this has to be a 1 for that reason. It's not a cell-centric reason, it's a box-centric reason. Sometimes you'll get a row-centric reason or a column-centric reason. In fact, for the column, it's the same thing. Where does 1 go in the column? Well, this one takes it out of here, this one takes it out of here, and this one takes it out of here, and this is a 6. So for the column, also 1 has to go there. And there is only ever one solution to a Sudoku. They're designed that way, that there is only one actual solution where you can fill 1 to 9 in every row column box. And so if you filled a 3 there, you would never get a solution. The solution has a 1 there. And I know that because I logically deduced that if I didn't put a 1 there, then there'd be nowhere to put 1 in the box and we wouldn't be able to solve the puzzle. So hopefully that's clear. That's called a hidden single. And hidden singles affect individual cells. They remove other options from a cell except for 1. Something like a hidden pair or hidden triple, those are also cell-centric. They remove all but 2 or 3 options from a cell. So hopefully that's clear in case you had that question. All right. So we have 2 1s here looking into this box. That puts a 1 in one of these two. What else am I seeing? I'm seeing 6s. This 6 looks in and this 6 looks in, and these two are occupied by non-6 and this 6 looks over. So 6 is actually placed in this box as well. I'm going to follow through on that and look at the 6s in this box and see that they're in one of these two. So I'm going to mark that. I also see 6s in this box are in one of these two, so I'll mark that as well. Now these 6s do point down. They also point up, but up's not important because there's already a 6 in this box. What do I mean by pointing down? Well, it's it's actually a slightly different concept than what we just talked about with this 1. It's kind of like the inverse. So in this box, the 6 needs to go in one of these two cells. It can't go here, can't go here. These are occupied by non-6s, so it can't go there either. So if it's here, then it can't be here. If it's here, it can't be here. Is the easiest way I can think to explain it. If I put a 6, say here, where it looks perfectly reasonable to put a 6, then there is now nowhere in this box to put a 6. And we have, again, broken the puzzle because the box needs a 6. So these two are not 6. And this 6 looks down. None of these are 6s, basically. And so we can put a 6 in one of these two as well. And that's what's really nice about these aligned corner marks is they do cause pointing in certain situations, especially this one, where you have 1 coming in from the side and 1 coming in from the top. And then these are occupied. You'll see that quite a lot. Once every other puzzle or so, probably, if not every puzzle. Let's see. Okay, let's keep going. So I want to keep looking up here for a little bit, but I think I may have exhausted everything we can immediately do. Okay, let's move on to these rows here. There's no repeated digits here. So what I'm mostly interested in is stuff like geometry. So I'll explain what I mean by geometry if I see something. Also looking for crossings. And what I mean by crossings is like how we found this 6, where this 6 looks in, which is normally not that interesting, but we also have 6s looking in from above and below, which restrict it significantly further. but I'm not seeing much to do with that. Down here as well, there's no repeated digits. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I'm not seeing anything interesting here. All right, let's look vertically then. We do have 2 8s here. So there's an 8 in one of these. Oh, actually, the 8's placed because we also have this 8. So we have these 2 8s looking down, and we have that 8 looking in, so that's an 8. This one looks down and this one looks in, but it's not enough. This 2 and this 2 look into this box. That puts a 2 in one of these two. This doesn't point or anything, but it's still useful to know that 2's in only 2 places, because if we eliminate one of these as not a 2, then the other one will be a 2, because it'll be the only place for 2 in the box. We have to have a 2 in the box. All right, we do have 2 6's looking down. And we also have this 6 looking over. So 6's in one of these two. And in fact, 6's, I believe, are down to this pattern and this pattern. That's not self-resolvable. We need something other than 6's to resolve that. How about over here? We do have a 9 somewhere along this column here because of these 2 9's. These we have the 1's done, so nothing there. The 4 is in one of these two, which might be interesting. So these aren't 4 or 7. So what are they? Because we for the box we need 1. We have 1 2. We need a 3. They aren't 4. We need a 5. We have a 6 and a 7. We need an 8, but only this one can be 8. So we end up with these options. 9 is in the box already, in the column. Okay. Not much to do with that yet, but I think it's a good marking. A lot of times when we mark something, it's because we found it interesting but couldn't immediately use it. So it's marked so that we don't have to come back later and re-look at what those can be. And hopefully we remember why we thought it was interesting in the first place. All right, there's a 4 in one of those two. Like, it's almost always interesting when a value is down to 2 or 3 places in a box, especially if 3 places only if they're in a line usually. But it's always interesting because sometimes you're going to come back at some point and you're not going to want to have to refine that hidden single when the board's all marked up. All right, I'm not seeing really anything else to do with the type of scanning we've been doing. So we are going to start looking for geometry, and we're going to start looking for restricted cells. By restricted cells, I mean cells like this 3 5 that are down to like, or even the 3 5 8 down to 3 values or fewer. And if you have a question, well, how do you find those? Well, like, look at this cell here. It sees 4 6 7 9 in its row, and it sees 1 5 8 in its column. There's no overlap between those. And if we just count, like, you can just sort of see with your eyes, like without even like, just doing an estimated counting in your head, that's a lot of digits, right? If we count exactly, then it's 4 plus 3 is 7. So we know there's 9 digits total. So this should have only 2 options, unless I missed something, in which case it'll have fewer. And so one option is 2. The options are 2 and 3. It sees 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it sees this one, of course. And so we're looking for stuff like that, where a particular cell sees like an overlap of a bunch of different digits. Now this one looks like it could be promising, and actually it is. It's still down to actually this one's really good. But if you were just looking at this 1 5 8 versus here, you'll notice that the 1 and the 8 repeat. So we have to remove those from being double counted. So if we just look at the row and column, what we're seeing is 6 digits. So it should have only 3 options. But I'm also seeing this 2 and 3 in the box. And with the 2 and 3 in the box, we are down to 1 option. So you can see it sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it can only be 9. So we can just put a 9 there. It removes that 9. So that's quite nice. One thing I want to think about is, because I noticed this 2, 3 need to be placed in this column still, and they can't go down here. I'm wondering what else is needed, because there's only 3 open spots for 2 and 3. So what does this column actually need? And I'm mostly interested in whether it needs an 8, and it doesn't, right? But if it needed an 8, then we'd have the 2, 3, 8 looking at these cells. and we could place a 2, 3, 8, but that's not the case here. But I do want to think about what it needs. It needs a 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So just by thinking about 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, I can just be looking to see what might be restricted. We already found that the 6 is down here. Nothing interesting about 7. Nothing interesting about 4. So sometimes there's something interesting, sometimes there's not. In this row, we have 3 left. I'm just going to mark that up. It's 2, 3, and 5. Oops, I need to mark it up in center markings. And this sees also the 2, 3 here, so that's the 5. Oh, so this was geometry we could have seen. You can see it happened. This 2, 3 took 2, 3 out of these 3 here. And so there were only 2 open spots, 4, 2, and 3. But that was there right from the start. I don't know how I missed that in my initial scanning for geometry, but I did. But anyway, because this 2, 3 took 2, 3 out of these 3 cells, and these aren't 2 or 3, there were only 2 open spots for 2 or 3, so they could only be 2 or 3. If they were anything else, we wouldn't be able to fit both 2 and 3 in that row. Anyway, that was pretty good. Let's follow up on the digits we just got. So these 5s look up, this 5 looks over. That places this 5. Now when I do that, that took a corner marked 2 away from the box. So we look at the box and we see there's only 1 corner marked 2 left, so we can just immediately place a 2 there. We're also seeing this 5 looking at this 3, 5, removing the 5, so it can only be 3 now. And that's why we mark up restricted cells, is it lets us find those naked singles earlier than we normally would. We need 3, 4, and 9 in this box. This can't be the 4 or 9, so this has to be the 3. And then we're left with 4 and 9, which I don't think are resolved, but we will mark it up. Okay, so we got this 3. We got this 5, 9, and 8. Just trying to make sure I follow up on everything we found here. All right, so there's an 8 down here. The 2, no. The 3, no. Oh, the 5s, these 2 5s look in here. And so there's only 1 place for 5 in this box, and that's here. This is going to be a pair. We know one of them's 1 because of our corner marks. It's going to be 1 and 8, it looks like. And so we know the order. That's the one, that's the 8, because we have this 8 down here. This is a triple now, so we'll just fill it. So we need 2, 3, and 9. I'm seeing this 2 look in, so this is going to be the 2. I said 3 and 9. I think that's not resolved. But this is a 3, 9 pair. That means that this is what's called a naked pair. Because these cells can only be 3 or 9, we can't put 3 or 9 anywhere else in the row. If we did, like if I put, say, a 3 here, or sorry, we can't do it there anyway. If I put a 9 here, this is the good example. If I put a 9 here, we'd think everything's fine. But we go over here now in this box, and even ignoring the fact that 9's now out of the box, this 3, 9 pair now is going to force both of these cells to be 3, right? We're gonna run out of digits for one of the cells because we have the 3 and the 9. These 2 cells were limited to 2 values, and it's 2 cells, and 2 cells need 2 values to have values for all of them. So that's called a naked pair, and that's going to remove 3 and 9 from these 3 cells, and so that specifically is going to make this a 4. So that's a 4. That's a 9. This 4 corner mark is now gone. We can remove that. And so now there's only 1 place for 4 in the box. It also was just finishing the row. This is a 7, 8 pair, which I don't think is resolved. Let's see. These 3 are probably worth filling because there's just 3 left in the column. So we are going to need a 1. I always like to think about the digits first, unless I'm very close to the end of the puzzle. We need a 1, 4, and 7. Okay, and I'm seeing this 1 and this 4, but I'm not seeing any like singles or anything, so I'm just going to put 1, 4, 7. I'm just going to clean it up. And that's exactly what happened with our red marks there. I'm just going to do all of these columns because they're all very limited. So we have 1, 2. This column needs a 3, which goes up here. So I'm going to corner mark that actually, and I'm going to put the 3s here. We also know the 6s go down here. But what are the other 2 digits we need? We do need a 4, which nothing sees, and then we need a 7, which nothing sees. Okay. And then these 3 are 1, 2, and so we know the 2 goes up here. The 1 can go anywhere. And then what's our 3rd digit? Our 3rd digit is a 9. And all I'm seeing is this 9 here. So, I missed this 9. Okay, so 9 is actually only in one place. 9 is up here. So that's the 9. That's now a 1 because it can't be 2 or 9. And then that's a 2. Very nice. Okay, this is now a 4-7 pair. It's just like what we talked about, this 3-9 pair. It's just crossing boxes. So this 4-7 pair takes 4 and 7 out of all of these cells. Specifically this one. Can't be a 7 now, so that's a 1. One's in one of these two. This is interesting. Okay, I'm gonna mark up this column now. Don't forget that we have this one up here. So we're expecting to find 4 values. So we do need a 2. I saw this too, but it's not really worth, it doesn't do anything. We need 6, 7, and 8. I see that this sees the 2, this sees 2, 7, and 8. And it was 2, 6, 7, 8 that we needed here. So this is the 6. Can't be anything else, and that's the 6 as well. And so now we just need 7 and 8, and I don't see anything looking at those. I guess there's the 7 here. Okay, so that's not resolved yet. Yeah, these 6s were just like these. They needed to be resolved externally, and that's how they ended up resolved. Okay. Let's see. Let's just keep marking up left to right because we have 4 left here. So we need 3, 5, 6, and 8. So I'm seeing that this sees 6 and 8, so it's only 3 or 5. This can't be 3 or 6, so this is 5 and 8. I'm just going to put 3, 5, 6, 8 here and clean it up. This can't be the 5 and this can't be the 8 because I'm not seeing anything to do with that. Okay, so what I am seeing though, and we probably can see this in a different way as well, which I will find for you. What we see here is 2, 3, 5, and 8. That's 4 values in 4 cells. This is what's called a quad. It works the same way as the pair we talked about, where we have 4 values, 2, 3, 5, 8, spread over 4 cells. So those 4 cells, if we put a 2, 3, 5, or 8 anywhere else in this box, that's going to disrupt the ability for these 4 cells to have 4 values. And so that removes 2, 3, 5, 8 from these cells. Specifically, it removes 8 from here. But we can also do, we could see the hidden inverse. So let's look for that. There's always a hidden inverse to a naked. There's always a hidden. For every naked, there's a hidden. For every hidden, there's a naked. So they're literally the same technique seen in 2 different ways. So what are we going to see here? Well, what are the remaining 2 digits? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9 are the 2 remaining digits. So if we look at where 4 and 9 can go in the box, we have this 4, 9 looking down. We have this 4, 9 looking down. We have this 4, 9 looking in. And so there's only 2 places for 4 and 9 in this whole box. And so they have to go here. This has to be 4, 9. Specifically, this one then can't be 8. So however you want to have noticed that, you can have seen the quad pattern, or you can have seen these 4 9s looking in without having to mark up that quad. And you get the same result of that 8 being eliminated. And these in general being only 4, 9. Okay, so I'm not going to mark this all up. There's too much open in this column, but I'm hoping we'll see something soon that will finish up our puzzle. There's 4 left in this column, so that might be worth looking at. So we need 2, 3, 7, 9. I think it's limited enough. I'm just going to put 2, 3, 7, 9 in and clean it up because I didn't see anything specific, but it does put 3 in one of these. We know it's this 3 looks in here, so this can't have 3s anywhere else. So 3s are here. And that does mean that none of these are 3s, for what it's worth. I'm not quite seeing exactly how to finish this. Sevens, no. Okay. The thing is that like these rows and columns have at least 5 open spots, so I might think about what they need, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna mark them yet. Maybe this row I'll think about first. So the row needs 2, 3, 5, 7, 8. And what I'm looking for is any cell that might be seeing a lot of 2, 3, 5, 7, 8. Not 5. Oh, I missaid that. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. This says 2 and 8. And 6. And 3. Okay, so it can't be 2, it can't be 3, it can't be 6, it can't be 8. So this has to be only 7. And if I do 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, we can confirm that. The 2, 4, and 8 are in red because they immediately see those givens. This can't be a 3 though, and I can explain why. So remember when I said 3 had to be here. It's because in this column, we have these 4 open spots. The column needs a 3, and this 3 here looked over and removed 3 from this cell. And so 3 ended up limited to these 3 cells, which happen to all be in the same box. And so what we get is called claiming. What claiming means is because this column claims the 3 within this box, nowhere else in this box can be a 3. If I put a 3 here, then where do I put a 3 in this column? Well, it's not here because of this 3, and it's not in any of these 3 because of this 3. And so I've broken the column. The column needs a 3, and it's not going to get one. So that's going to happen if I put a 3 in any of these cells. Therefore, it eliminates the 3 from those cells. And so now this can only be a 7. Now that that's only 7, that makes this a 3, which makes this a 2, which makes this a 9, and that's a 7. Very, very nice. And I think that might just finish the puzzle. I'm just at this point following my red markings around. I removed this corner mark 4, so there's only one place for 4 in the box now. I'm going to clean up this 7 and 3, and we're going to take a look at what we've got, because we just placed a bunch of digits. I need 3, 5, and 9 in this row, which I'm actually not seeing what to do other than 9s in one of these. Now we can just basically mark up everything because we're so limited until we find what to do. When we're at the end of the puzzle, that's usually just the best way to move forward. I need a 1, 2, 5, and 8. We know the 1's in one of these. 1, 3, 5, 9. This can't be 3 or 9. Right, so it's only 1, 5. That makes a 1, 5 pair in this column. So this one's not a 5. It leaves we have a 3, 9 pair and a 1, 5 pair remaining. In this row, I know we need 2 and 8 because I can see that here. But we need another digit because there's 3 open spots. What is it? 5. 2, 5, and 8. All right, I'm not seeing what to do with that. That's just not a 2. This whole box, it's going to need a 1, 5, 6, 8. Clean that up a bit. I am seeing 8s in one of these two, and I can mark that, but it doesn't actually clear anything out. Okay, this is a 1, 5, 6 triple. So if we look at this row, we've accounted basically where 1, 5, and 6 go. And we also know where all these digits go. So this is going to be the digit that's not present. This is going to be a 7. So we can just place a 7 there. We could also have seen these two 7s look in and this 7 look up if we wanted to. But it's a lot harder to do that scanning once we're fully marked, which is why we do it early. But we could have seen it. This can't be 2 or 5, and the column needs 2, 3, 5. We can see that here. So just by shorthand, we know it's going to be a 3 without having to mark it up first. And that looks like it's just going to finish our whole puzzle up. All right, so I don't go into this much detail every time, but I thought I would today. That's why it took 24 minutes. Hopefully you didn't get too bored of that. Hopefully for some of my newer viewers that was helpful. And so yeah, I'll mark this with a title like detailed walkthrough, so you know when I'm doing it in more in-depth or in-depth walkthrough or something like that. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, and if you're appreciating this series, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.